sometimes I just have to wonder what the fork are we thinking? I mean, according to the USDA, between 30 to 40% of all food produced in the US is thrown out in the garbage. That translates to over 133 billion pounds with a B of food and over $161 billion worth of loss. And if that wasn't bad enough, all that food ends up in the landfills and creates an environmental impact disaster. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, published a report in 2021 on the environmental impacts of food waste, which estimates the U.S. food loss and waste embodies 170 million metric tons of carbon dioxide. That is equivalent to 42 coal-fired power plants. And this estimate doesn't even include the significant methane emissions from food waste rotting in landfills. The EPA data also shows that food waste is the most common material landfilled and incinerated in the U.S. And it's just got to stop. Our waste is eating us alive. If the number one contributor to greenhouse gas emissions is the food that should be nourishing our bodies, it begs the obvious. Shouldn't we do something about it? Really do something about it. And this really hits home for me because when I started Eat Cleaner, I wanted to create a product that would help my father eat a salad safely. After being diagnosed with cancer, he was told to avoid raw food, including fruits and vegetables. And there's no kill step when it comes to raw food. So if an E. coli bacteria decides to run amok, and it can put my father in the hospital or worse because his immune system is compromised. And it turns out that leafy greens are the number one cause of foodborne illness. And you can't cook lettuce. Well, you can, but it's not going to be great. And that's where we set out to not only invent and patent a line of all natural products that could remove up to 99.99% of the residue that can make you sick and cause foodborne illness like salmonella, E. coli, and listeria, and pesticides, by the way. But as environmentalists, we really wanted to also keep produce out of the landfills. So we created the only patented antioxidant and antimicrobial formula using ingredients you'd find in your kitchen. And now with Eat Cleaner, you have a way of enjoying that food and helping it last up to 5 times longer just by taking a few minutes to wash it. It's so easy, you guys, and it helps you save a family an average of $50 a month. So the ROI on a $5 bottle is better than what you're making in the bank. And aside from those home measures, you know, we want to help restaurants. We want to help food service companies. We want to help those products before they spoil. And there are a lot of companies out there that are doing the right thing. You know, you may have heard of like the term ugly or imperfect produce. And this movement is really being embraced. And that term of ugly is turning into something beautiful. During my last visit to Sprouts Market, which is around my area in Southern California, I found the Ugly Duckling brand. And they have a large variety of rescued organic produce, including russet potatoes and avocados and sweet potatoes and onions and citrus, lemons, limes, oranges. And it was in a huge, 14-foot produce bin. And it was about half the cost of the other organic produce in the store. And with my eye, I could not tell the difference. I mean, maybe some of those fruits and vegetables are a little misshapen, but so what? They're not perfect, and neither are we. But the impact on your wallet is substantial. There's a company called Misfits Market, too, and they work directly with makers and producers and farmers to source those ingredients, grocery ingredients, meat, seafood, dairy that would otherwise go to waste. And they deliver them to your door at prices that are around 40% off retail. And they've taken that spoke out of the distribution process, so you're able to benefit from that savings while supporting farmers and growers with your purchase directly. And, sometimes the packaging is outdated or it's short dated or the best buy date is fast approaching, but there's still plenty of time and it's fine to eat. There's nothing that will make you sick or anything bad or wrong with the product. Sometimes a company just produces too much or the packaging isn't right for retail, and Misfits repackages the bulk items for you. And ultimately, there's nothing wrong with it. That food needed to be rescued, like so many of us. So that company, Misfits, has done amazing things. They've saved over almost 230 million pounds of food since they started in 2018, and they did acquire Imperfect Foods, so you can get that delivery box right to your door. I've tried it now a couple of times, and I've been really pleased with the breadth and quality of the products. I've gotten everything from tofu to grass-fed steaks, yellowtail that's wild caught, Greek yogurt that's organic, all kinds of fresh produce. I got the best mango and varieties that I wouldn't find in the store or at my farmer's market. And it all shows up to my door, and that's a substantial time saver, and time is money. There's also another organization called Upcycled Food Association, and they're a nonprofit working to prevent food waste with companies, working with companies that would, normally not use certain ingredients, but they're doing it now to create an entirely new product or a better product using upcycled ingredients that would have gone to waste. Interesting story, coconut water. You know how popular coconut water got and it just kind of came out of nowhere? That came from two guys meeting two Brazilian girls in a bar in New York. And the girls were talking about how they missed their agua coco from Brazil. And the guys were smitten and they were motivated. And they ended up creating a whole new industry, a multi-billion-dollar industry from what would have ended up as waste on a coconut processing floor. Think about beer. A company called Regrain started rescuing grain used in beer after their founders discovered that in college that a pound of grain was left over after every six-pack that they brewed. And now they take those grains from breweries, and with their technology, they turn them into something called Super Grain Plus. And that is the hero of their bakery mixes and pastas and puffs and bars. And it's cool because companies like Misfits are supporting upcycled products and helping to encourage manufacturers to incorporate upcycling into their existing lineup of products, because everybody can rescue something. At the Anaheim Natural Products Expo in March, the country's largest natural food, beverage, household, and personal care trade show, Misfits and the UFA, the Upcycled Food Association, joined forces to launch the first Misfits and Upcycled Food Association Upcycling Challenge Pitch Competition. And they encourage brands to save that food from waste and tackle climate change by showcasing their upcycled innovations. The winners were products that exist already, but now are using upcycled material, like Atoria's Family Bakery, and they make bread with simple non-GMO ingredients, and they used upcycled material in their mini naan, and they use that regrain super grain. Chomps, they make sustainably sourced protein snacks, and they were able to use 10% meat left over from other production. Petit Pot, they make these little cute little desserts in a recycled glass container, and they were able to use 8.5% of upcycled broken rice material in theirs and in the rice pudding. And all three of them are now doing this because of these undervalued supply chains. They're able to still deliver nutrition and sometimes even better nutrition and functionality. The CEO of UFA, Angie Crone, told me that about $840 million worth of product was rescued last year from these 250 businesses around the world that have now embedded this waste-saving ethos into their brand fabric and their manufacturing process. And you can find these companies because they feature the upcycled logo on their packaging. And that's a big trend. In fact, the promoters of Expo West called upcycling the next new hot trend in sustainability. It's like organic plus. So as consumers, we get to vote with our dollars and support companies that rescue food, upcycle it, or help to prevent waste in the first place. Here are a few additional things that you can do at home too, since it is Earth Month. If you keep your fridge tidy, you'll avoid overfilling it, and that can help prevent cool air from circulating. So avoid stacking and piling up containers and bags. It's always a good idea to remove that outer packaging too to prevent bacteria contamination. And the same thing, you want to just monitor that and make sure that it's not going bad in your fridge, which can create bacteria and mold spores in your refrigerator. So keep it fresh and eat it. Don't let it go to waste, and don't let it go past its prime. Maybe you even want to put the cook date on the bag or the container with a Sharpie if you're making foods and doing meal prep, for example. I always encourage people to wash their produce with Eat Cleaner. You can put them in clear containers in your refrigerator, so it's like a salad bar, and you see what you've got and you don't let that go to waste. And it's going to last up to 5 times longer. Another thing is know your time and temperature. You know, perishability with food, if it's left out, especially when it's warm, as we head into summer, if it's left out for over an hour and it's 90 degrees outside, that's too hot, and that's going to proliferate bacteria. So make sure to avoid that. Keep everything on ice, keep it nice and cool. And even in your refrigerator, the ideal fridge temp is 36 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. And the coldest parts are in the back and the bottom. So that's best for dairy items, eggs, uncooked meats, and cut produce. So keep it cool in your fridge and outside. And other things like maximizing ingredient use. You know, there's nothing worse than buying one ingredient for a recipe that you use a quarter of a teaspoon and then throw the rest out. Try and use that ingredient in lots of different things. Or if it's an herb, you can chop it up and put it in an ice cube tray, add some olive oil, a little fresh garlic, salt and pepper, and that's what I call a flavor bomb. You know, I just drop that in and cook it with proteins or veggies, and it adds instant flavor. So just a little bit in each compartment of your ice cube tray, and that really does work. I've been doing that for years. I also love to meal prep. So if you meal prep for success, meaning you have a plan and you execute that plan, you're going to be able to save money and save food from waste and get the proper nutrition into your body to fuel you, to thrive. That's what food's supposed to do. And then you're also more in control of your food and the food safety and the quality of the ingredients you're picking. You know, you wash it, you control how it's prepped and stored. You do that and watch what happens to your health. I even have a 12-week meal prep program that you can find at chefmareya.com. And these are nutritionally balanced recipes with shopping lists, calendars, nutrition information, all broken down for you. All you have to do is follow it. And I invite you to take a seat at this chef's table, because environmentalism and really conserving what we get to enjoy in this country of abundance is my passion. And all around the world, we have a global problem. We can prevent food waste if we just make it a priority. We have to make it a priority. It is going to become unmanageable if we don't. The environment needs us. And quite frankly, it's such a waste to our wallets. It's a waste of resources. It's a waste of time and energy. We can do better. So will you join me? It's Earth Month. I'm going to be sharing all kinds of tips all month. Make sure you follow me at Chef Mareya on Instagram and Facebook. Bonzo might even get in on the action. And I just appreciate you listening to this, because it takes a village. It really does. But we can start with one. The exponential power of us all doing our share, our part, will make a difference. So what can we do? Let me know. Email me at mareya@eatcleaner.com. That's Mareya @eatcleaner.com. Yes, I'm giving you my email address because I want to know what you plan on doing to help prevent food waste. Let us not waste. Let us do better, because when we know better, we can do better. Thank you for being here. Hopefully this gives you some inspiration for Earth Month and making Earth Month every month. Make sure to go back and check out the previous episodes. We have so many episodes about food waste and about how you can prevent that in your own home, as well as ways to empower your health and well-being from the inside out. I got you. I hear you. I see you. Let's do this together. Thanks for being here.